Hey everyone, welcome to the road to Avengers Doomsday. I'm Jonathan, and every single month I'm going back through the MCU, revisiting each movie and showing you how to make custom LEGO minifigures from every single Marvel film leading up to the culmination in Avengers Doomsday. We've made it a long way so far, so be sure to hit like and subscribe, and let's get into today's movie starting now. As the road to Doomsday continues, we are now to Antman and the Wasp QUANTUMANIA. I don't think this movie has aged very well, but we did get a lot of very cool character designs which will translate into LEGO form, so with any luck, maybe their showcase will be better than the movie it's even based on, but let's get right into it. Also guys, if you've never checked out my music, this would be a great time to do so. I wrote a song called Let's Get Small, and it's about Antman. It's got a great stop motion animation that goes with it, and that's on the channel now. I always appreciate when you guys support my music and my LEGO stuff, so I'll put a link to that if you want to check out the video now. We'll go ahead and kick things off with Antman, and this is definitely a hodgepodge of Antman parts from over the years. The torso and the helmet come from the new 2025 Endgame version of Antman. I think that those versions of both are probably the strongest to date, although if you have the original Antman and the Wasp one from 2018, that works well. I just think for the average viewer now, the 2025 one that you can go buy in a store right now is a little bit more accessible. That being said, for the best possible leg print, you will need the legs from the 2018 Ant-Man, so at that point, maybe you just use that version altogether. That being said, I just thought it'd be fun to put all the pieces together, just like using these black arms with red print from the Surfer from the LEGO collectible minifigure series, and when we lift the helmet up, of course, I had to go with the classic Scott Lang head choice, which is Poe Dameron from Star Wars, which when we put brown hair on, it literally looks exactly like Paul Rudd, and makes for an absolutely perfect LEGO translation every time. The Wasp's color scheme is really interesting in this movie. Her suit is more black and yellow than blue and yellow from her previous versions, but that being said, I went ahead and used the wings, the helmet, and the torso from the Avengers Tower version of the Wasp, because to date, those are all of the best options for Hope's look in the movie. Now that being said, the dull molded arms that have black on top and yellow on bottom come from the soccer coach character from the LEGO collectible minifigure series, and I used the old tried and true handcuff trick where we take a pair of black handcuffs and cut the chain off, then put the cuffs back on the wrists for her to have gauntlets or stingers in this case. Then the yellow and black legs come from Sinestro from LEGO DC. We can lift that helmet up to see that I went ahead and used the Tina Goldstein head underneath, and we could put some short brown hair on it for her shorter hair look in the film. Now, for a decent amount of the movie, Cassie is actually dressed in casual clothing, but to keep things super, we'll go ahead and put her in her version of the ant suit. Stature, I think, is the name they go with in this, but I can't remember. She has a lot of different names when she becomes an ant hero in the comics. Anyways, that being said, the arms and the legs are really nice with the dull molded legs, and of course that purple shoulder print, and those come from Huntress from the LEGO DC collectible minifigure series. The torso comes from Shuri from LEGO Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Of course, we used that same handcuff trick yet again, but this time with silver handcuffs. She's got a brown ponytail and the head from Hermione from LEGO Harry Potter. Another thing worth pointing out are the micro figures of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Of course, the Ant-Man micro figure is the one based off of Avengers Endgame. We never got a micro Ant-Man with his technically different suit from QUANTUMANIA, but interestingly enough, the only mini Wasp we have is from QUANTUMANIA, which you can tell from the circle at the center of the torso area there, which of course reflects how her suit looks in QUANTUMANIA. So just kind of an interesting little factoid, but we should definitely include these two since the Wasp figure wasn't even released as of the time my showcase for this movie originally came out 2 years ago. We'll go ahead and take a look at Hank and Janet side by side, and I think that both of these turned out exceptionally well. Now, of course, for the Janet figure, we've got the new head from Madame Morrible from the Wicked sets. I think that that literally works perfect for Michelle Pfeiffer in these films. So that's what I used here. She's got the long gray hair, of course, from Mrs. Scratch and Post from the Lego movie sets and CMFs. The little, like, I don't know what you would call it, kind of like the trench coat thing, I guess like a canvas tarp she wears, comes from Obi-Wan from the Kenobi series on Disney+. Then, of course, she's just got a dark tan khaki torso and brown legs. And then for Hank, I used the legs and torso from one of the Weasley twins from the Harry Potter CMF Series 2. He's got the headphones around his neck there to represent the goggles he wears in the movie. The head comes from one of the henchmen from LexCorp from 2016 Batman vs. Superman, or from Hoskins from Jurassic World, or even from Kraven the Hunter from Marvel. Then, of course, he's got the really nice hair that comes on Commissioner Gordon from the Lego Batman movie CMF. Up next is Veb, who I made last time around, but I lost a lot of the pieces for, so I had to make him fresh all over again. But to build this figure, I used the pink head and the headpiece from one of the CMF aliens, like the purple one from several years back, with a flower stud, then a 1x1 red stud with a hole in it, so that I could go ahead and take a plant piece here. I had to chop the legs down so that they were all even and use a paint pen to make the legs pink, but it gets the point across and makes for a very easy to make version of Veb in case you want to go ahead and build this yourself. To be honest with you, over the last 2 years, I really don't know if there's a better way to build Gentora or Quaz, so I went ahead and used basically exactly what I did all those years ago. And for Gentora, it's the hair, head, and torso from Valkyrie, from Lego Marvel, of course, and the legs from the Shuri Black Panther, which we already used the torso on Cassie in this video. Then for Quaz, the head is actually the Chadwick Boseman head with spiky black hair. We've got a red scarf around his neck, the torso from Taskmaster, matching hands, and dark blue legs. Speaking of designs that can't really be improved upon, we now have the broccoli head guy. This design was so funny back in the day, and I really don't know how I would do it any better, so let's just go ahead and roll it back and use the Kit Fisto torso with brown legs and, of course, a piece of broccoli from your refrigerator. Up next, we have Bill Murray's Lord Krylar, and, of course, for this, I used the head from Peter Venkman, and although it's a little bit younger than the way Bill Murray looks in the movie, it's still got pretty darn good likeness, so we're going to use that. With the receding hairline, white hair for him. This torso, I think, comes from, like, the Lego Pirates theme or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe build a minifig station. I'm sure someone in the comments can let us all know. And he's got blue legs to finish out the look. And now, of course, for the main event, we've got Kang. Now, this purple helmet actually comes from Danju from the old Knights Kingdom sets back in the day. I believe we've gotten a purple classic space helmet in more modern Lego sets, and I know I have it, I just don't know where, so that would be a little easier to track down, I'm sure. But underneath that, I used I used the head from Hydro Man from the Lego Spider-Man Far From Home sets, and of course, if we remove both of those, I went ahead and used the head from Agent Kolar from Star Wars because, of course, the great thing about that head is it actually kind of gives you some of the facial details that we see Kang have in the movie. And, of course, I gave him Finn's hair. Now, this head was originally suggested by HMD Customs back in the day, so shout out to him yet again all these years later. And, of course, I used a dark green cape here with the printed purple arms from that same alien that we got the head from Veb for earlier in this video. The torso comes from Lex Luthor, powered up, with a purple utility belt from Catwoman from the Lego Batman movie, and the legs from Beast Boy from Teen Titans. That way you get the purple boots, and although the legs being black doesn't match perfectly, I think the way it all fits together looks really great. Now that brings us to Modok. And years ago, before this showcase, I held a competition online to let you guys build the best version of Modok you could. And although his name has since changed since winning the contest 2 years ago, shout out to Bob Robert Bricks for his amazing build of Modok as seen here. Really, really phenomenal work, and I don't know how you could possibly do it any better, so shout out to him, and great work on building Modok. And to round out the showcase, and kind of basically the last time we ever saw Kang in his variants, we of course get Ramatut and Immortus. Now for Ramatut, I used the torso from one of the Outriders from Lego Marvel with black legs, black hands, matching arms with a Rhodey head, and this very cool, like, Pharaoh headpiece, which of course comes from King Tut from the Lego Batman movie.
Technically, I should have used one that's more gold, but believe it or not, I actually can't find one in my collection right now, so I went with the next best option I could find, which is always a great thing when you're making customs. For Immortus, this definitely turned out awesome. He's got a 1x2 plate brick up here with a flat piece up top for his crazy hat. The head and hands come from the original Ronan the Accuser from 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy, while the torso comes from the Alien Queen from the CMF. These legs come from the Build-A-Minifig station at the Lego store. I'm not 100% sure if it ever came on a minifig. Once again, I'm sure somebody in the comments will let us know. And this very unique cape here with these like long drape pieces up front and the long cape and back come from Kingsley from the Lego Harry Potter CMF Series 2. The post-credit scene gives us Victor Timely, which was pretty awesome, but there is a much better head than the one you see here. I would recommend using Baxter from TMNT because that gives you the mustache and the glasses, but unfortunately I don't have that figure, so the next best option I thought was Winston from the Ghostbusters. Then I gave him Shuri's hair from Lego Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and he's got the Minister of Magic torso and legs to give him that kind of old-timey feel. Then in the audience for Victor Timely, we see Loki and Mobius, which if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago who I thought my final characters in this showcase would be, I never would have guessed it'd be these two. But regardless, we've got Loki and Mobius here. I think that this scene is basically going to be in Loki Season 2, so maybe I'll update these when we get a better look at their outfits. But for Mobius, I used the legs and torso from Henry Jones Sr. from the original wave of Indiana Jones, with the head from Dursley from Harry Potter, Vernon Dursley, and I gave him a top hat. And for Loki, I gave him a black bowler's cap with the CMF Loki head and Harry Potter's torso and legs from Harry Potter. So let's round out this showcase and bring it to a close. Alright guys, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below and stay tuned as we continue down the road to Avengers Doomsday. Up next will be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 next month, which is going to be a lot of fun to revisit. You don't want to miss that, so stay tuned and I'll see you guys then.